What is up, ladies and gentlemen? SaintsKnight 283 here, welcoming you guys back to the channel with another movie review. And today's film that we are going to be reviewing for you today is the dystopian neo-noir thriller Blade Runner 2049. And as always, just like our usual movie reviews, there will be absolutely no spoilers whatsoever in this review. This is just my own opinions about the film. So no plot points are going to be spoiled. So if for the people who actually want to go see it, can see it unspoiled. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, if you do want to keep seeing these movie reviews in the future, don't forget to smash the thumbs up. So without further ado, let us dive straight into this film review of Blade Runner 2049. And guys, I gotta be honest, and Blade Runner is a gorgeous looking film. I mean, the cinematographer and people behind the special effects and sounds and everything with the looks and sounds of the film, they deserve high praise from us here at the AllSaints Network, and as well as the cinematographer, the music director and the actual main director himself, who is actually Dennis Fielner, who directed Arrival. Everyone on the production side of the team really deserves high praise. Now, the story of this film, I can't really go. Normally in these reviews, I'd give a brief synopsis of the film and what I think about the plot and all. I can't really. Actually, this time it's a bit different because if I talk about the plot, a lot of stuff gets given away. So I'm gonna try and keep it as brief as possible. There's this guy, Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling's character, Kay, whilst he's working on a case, he finds a clue to something, to an investigation that was in the first Blade Runner, or something linked to the first Blade Runner film, which if you haven't seen, go check it out, because if you haven't seen the first Blade Runner, I'm going to say, don't watch Blade Runner 2049 unless you watch the first Blade Runner. So I actually recommend the director's cut rather than the original cut and final cuts of the film. But back to 2049. The story is at the start it's simple enough, but it starts to add on, and then you notice with that it has layers upon layers. More secrets start to unravel, and actually, for the first time ever, it actually excuse me, it actually kept me guessing. Not one moment of the film was predictable, boring, or you could see coming a mile away, because everything that this film actually had, you wouldn't predict it was going to happen in this film. And with some of the scenes, you actually do get that quite a lot. The cast, Ryan Gosling does a superb job as our lead protagonist, a replicant Blade Runner named Kay. He nails the replicant side of himself very well, actually. Harrison Ford is also back as Deckard. I'm not too sure if that's his first name or surname, but Deckard who was the main protagonist of the first Blade Runner. And it's Harrison Ford. He rarely turns down a bad performance, and this was not one of them. This was actually a good performance from Harrison Ford. And the main antagonist was actually surprising. It was actually Jared Leto, actually. And this is where I thought, with Jared Leto's character, I'm a bit conflicted, because on the one hand he's good. Actually, he's a good, interesting villain who who knows what he's doing and all that, but on the other hand, he's batshit crazy, too one-dimensional, and his he has a maniacal god complex, which is a bit cliche, but not too much that you don't be like, that you don't just face palm every time you actually, see him. And not a lot. I went into this film actually a bit clueless, actually, because not not many trailers were released for this film, so I wouldn't be able to know like what to expect and all that sort of stuff. And that's a good thing, actually, because if you run a trailer, you may risk spoiling it, and thankfully nothing was spoiled for me, and that meant I could go in knowing nothing about Blade Runner 2049. Actually, and on the subject of that, if you're going to watch Blade Runner 2049, as well as watching the first Blade Runner, I recommend going on to YouTube and watching the two wee shorts with Jared Leto's character Wallace and Dave Bautista's character, in order to actually get a full understanding of their character development and all that sort of stuff. So I recommend with that before jumping into this film. But for this film, as I've said before, the visual effects are stunning. What's surprising actually is that this future post-apocalyptic world of 2029 is 2049, I think. 2029 or 2049. I don't know the year, but this dystopian future post-apocalypse world actually looks more futuristic than the Ghost in the Shell live adaptation. And you could tell that everyone knew the source material and the movie, because they're both actually two completely different separate entities. And you could tell that the crew actually loved the source material that much, and they cared for it. Same as well with the sounds. The sounds in this are actually match everything perfectly. The sound effects of this are top notch for a futuristic setting that this actually goes for. As well as that, the film score, the soundtrack, is actually perfectly matched. It actually sets up. It's a perfect setup for. There's no wrong music for any particular set piece. Although that's not true. There's one or two, but those are rare instances. You'll know them when you actually come across them, but for the rest of the film, it's actually the music is actually top notch. As well as I put it, there's only a couple of problems with this film. First off, its length. A lot of people aren't actually going to be interested in watching Blade Runner 2049 because of how long it is. And yes, at 2 hours and 43 minutes, it is way too long. And you get the feeling in the film that if they had cut some stuff down if they cut the last 43 minutes out, well, if they cut out 43 minutes of the film, then you would have had a better film anyway. You would have a better film and better pacing, better pacing of the film, which leads me to my second problem. The pacing of the film is a bit off at times. I mean, especially during the middle. Again, I'm not going to go too much into spoilers, but in sort of the middle of it, you could see that the story does start to drag off a little bit, and there are some scenes that actually go on far too long. Longer than they should be, actually, and that presents a bit of a problem for the pacing, which goes off. It starts off, actually, the pacing in the first act is quite good, but as it gets to the second act, you can sort of see the pace start to drop a little bit and takes its time. There are some scenes that you're just like, oh my god, hurry up! Yes, we get it. Just go. Just hurry up. And lastly, the main problem I had was that the villains weren't really interesting. I mean, Jared Leto's character was a bit hit or miss, and his henchwoman was a bit meh, in my opinion, because actually it's not. I mean, you don't expect these bad guys to be in don't expect them to be in anyone's top 10 villain list. Because they're both one-dimensional, cliche characters, and this is 2017, and having generic, cliche characters shouldn't be a thing. And I don't know why it still is a thing, and that makes me sad, honestly. But overall, this film, I honestly don't know what to think about this film. I mean, on the one hand, it's a visual gem. Its sounds are good, the music is good, the direction is good, the acting is superb, and there's a lot of good things about it. But at the same time, you can tell that there's a lot of negatives about this film, a lot of bad stuff about it. Well, not bad, but mishaps on the film's part. So with that being said, the final verdict on Blade Runner 2049 is probably going to be a 6 out of 10 for me. Now, that may sound bad, but let me explain. A 6 out of 10 in my book is slightly above average. I mean, if the pacing wasn't off in the second and third act, if the villain was a bit more interesting, if the villains had better motivations, better backstories, and had better personalities, or more likable villains, then we'd have then the film would probably get up to like 8 or 9 out of 10. But as it is right now, Blade Runner 2049 earns a 6 out of 10. So that's what we thought about Blade Runner 2049. What do you guys think about the film? If you've seen it, comment down below if you've seen it, what you thought of it. Or if you haven't seen it, comment down below if you're going to see it. And with that, I'm afraid that's all the time we have in today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy that. If you did, then smash the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and if you're not new, then don't forget to turn on post notifications. It's simple to do. All you gotta do is click the bell icon next to the subscribe button, tick the box enabling all notifications, press save, then boom, you have instant notifications on whenever we post a new video or whenever we go live. And apart from that, guys, we'll see you in the next video. So until then, guys, as always, peace.